Hi there everyone, and welcome to my Inner Circle farming guide. You may be wondering why this video is a little bit longer than you might expect. That's because I'm going to show a few clips. First up, my solo farming of this map, then with analysis. Then I'm going to show where party farming went a bit wrong, but not that wrong, but just not very efficient. Then I'm going to show a clip, a couple of runs where it just went very well, and we're going to analyze them as they go through. So let's have a look at the map here. This map is notoriously known for being very good for party farming. It's pretty much the only one that people like to play with GLPs, other than Adamar Sanctum, when that's on bonus gold. So the reason why is quite obvious. It's because you've got bridges that could be run very efficiently by multiple people running along them, and wide open spaces like that. So the reason why I'm showing this map is because I want to talk about what you want to do here when you get to this, whether you want to go clockwise, anti-clockwise. So many people like to go clockwise around this. They'll go up around the top, dip in here, and then carry on round and finish up here. The clockwise route is the same, going around, dipping in here, and stopping about here. Now, going anti-clockwise means you miss out this little bit and this little bit. Going clockwise, you only miss out a very short chunk here, and you miss out this kind of chunk here. That's why I think they're very similar in time, but I think anti-clockwise is slightly better. And the reason why you want to dip in from the bottom to take out these enemies, rather than from the top, is because it's far easier to aim up and kill enemies in King's Road, rather than down. That just goes without saying, really. It's much easier to target. Throw a Fireblast in there if you come in from the bottom. Then coming down, you have to sort of come down really far into it. So that saves some time coming in from the bottom. Now, the boss hit in this is kind of out of the way. You can see whatever route you do around here, around in a circle, you're going to end up over here or over here, and you can't really get over there and kill it in enough time for it to be efficient. It adds about 1/8 of the gold onto the run for you, which if you're doing it 1 minute 20, that's 80 seconds. Basically, you've got about 10 seconds to come and kill the boss, which there's no efficient way to run around this, which then leaves you, makes you close enough that you can get to the boss and kill it in 10 seconds. So the most efficient farming methods for this are to end here or here, and just return to town with the button in the top left. So as you run through this party farming, it's pretty obvious you go in the different bridges. At this point, there's some barrels at the top, which one person wants to take down, while the other one focuses on the middle. Going across here, there's some barrels up here. You just sort of spread out. Here, there's barrels either side, enemies in the middle. You want to focus on spreading out and taking down the different targets, much more than other maps. That works really well. Also, some enemies, there's imps at various points, which come when you get to a certain point. So I like to come along this bridge here, then I'll teleport into the middle before taking down the barrels at the top. And whoever's coming along the bottom, usually by the time they get to the middle, I've teleported in, and imps have come down, so they can then take out all the enemies at once, rather than having to wait for the imps. That's kind of the kind of thinking you want to do when you're doing party farming. And for solo farming on these bridges, it gets a little bit annoying. For an archer, you can use the 360 spread shot or firestorm. That can get the statues on the other bridge. If you're as a knight, then you can use hurl across the bridges, but again, that's kind of awkward. As a wizard, Frostdrake actually targets the statues, so I use Frostdrake on this first bridge. I'll come up, drop it here, then use a little Fireblast here, Fireblast on the top. For the second one, I do a Fireblast from the bottom, run across the top, and then Fireblast from the other side. That's the way to take down all the statues most efficiently, I found. So yeah, that's pretty much it that I wanted to say on this. I will go into the solo farming now. So first off, I'm just going to let this play through. I'm not going to analyse anything, and this is just because this is for reference if you want to look back and watch the technique again. So yeah, if you're finding my voice annoying, just put me on mute. That's if, yeah, you're just coming back to have a look at the technique. So I'm just going to roll off some statistics while this is playing through. This map gives 4,222 gold, as that's base gold, which compared to some other ones, I've got Adamar Sanctum at about 2,500, the Burial Grounds at about 2,000, I think Serpent's Cliff is about 1,600, and yeah, Adamar's dungeon is more like 4,800. So yeah, this comes in as one of the higher ones, and when you look at how long it takes to run, sorry, it actually rivals, for me at least, Animal's Sanctum, which Animal's Sanctum for me, I think is the fastest one. I haven't tested them all yet, but I think Animal's Sanctum is the fastest way for me to get gold. So yeah, this is really high up there as solo farming, and basically if you can shave off time when you party farm, bring this down to like 1 minute 15 seconds, 1 minute 10 seconds, like this is going to be the best map for farming. And yeah, that's why people know it as that, and the statistics definitely show that. It also gives 3,500 experience, which I can't remember off my top of my head how that compares to the others, but yeah, I'll probably write in the description how that compares. Anyway, that was pretty much the run. The run is over, so let's get into the analysis. Alright, we're going to properly analyze this run now and have a look what we can find out. So to start off right at the beginning, I'll only use flame armor when I teleport in. That's because it needs to end at a specific point. Beginning the bit there is quite easy to see. Fireblast off to the side, a burst of light there. I normally get the enemy there, but this particular time I didn't. I then run down to where these statues are, hit them with flame armor, and it's very important that you target the enemy which does knockback here, or knock down. That's because there's a lower chance if you teleport right next to it that it will hit, just because you're going to suddenly spin around it and it's going to miss you. Then you want to Fireblast around about here. I found the lower statues or the enemies are easier to hit, so you can get those enemies there. So hit a Fireblast back behind there, teleport across these guys, but I didn't this time, and Frostdrake there. You can then do a burst of light and a Fireblast, and otherwise pick off the rest of the enemies with basic attacks around the back. There shouldn't be too many left. You can then just run across the top bridge with flame armor, and if you look at the cooldown here, it ends there. Now that was slightly slower run than normal because I had a couple of slower bits, but yeah, basically flame armor will end when you finish that bridge, so you've got to really time it when you first go with those first enemies. If you are slower, then do it a little bit after that, like maybe when you start running down the path, then it will reach the end of the bridge. So I teleport into the middle here to set off the imps. I then do a Fireblast on those two sections, teleport across, Fireblast on that little bit there. Earlier on, the bit lower down, you need to take out more of the statues across the bridge, but at this point you can actually leave a lot of those later ones. You just need to take down those first three. Then run back across, do a burst of light, a Fireblast off to the side, and yeah, pick off any enemies you missed. Then this one's pretty obvious. Okay, now you want to target one of these two statues. Either one of them will take down all of these statues, and the positioning for this is basically get in line with the bridge, and then you can aim at those two, otherwise it might get you doing annoying running. Now here there's an enemy which slows you, which you can't really stop. Also, I normally teleport a little bit more around here. In this one I went closer to the barrels, and so I missed some enemies. But yeah, you should be able to get all the enemies other than the gargoyles, which then you'll take down in this section down here. Now going down there sets off the imps. You can see I got most of the enemies, and often a Frostdrake's very good for taking out the last few enemies. Aim it on the enemies and then do this here. Now this I messed up massively with the aiming there. You need to go on the top ones, and yeah, normally you get slowed down by the slowing enemy, in which case you Fireblast the barrels and then teleport as soon as teleport's around, which it should be there. Because yeah, if you run, you're going to be running slowly. So then Fireblast this one's down here, Fireblast that over there. Going over there attracts the archers' attention, which gets them in with all the other enemies, which is good. Now teleport up here, I don't know why I didn't, but yeah, you want to Fireblast up there, burst of light, should take down everything, and then come back across and do a couple of Fireblasts. Do not use a Drake, because you want to use it on those barrels on the right there, because they are otherwise difficult to target. And as you can see, teleport, you do a Frostdrake at the top, Fireblast in the middle there, burst of light, and that's it done. So I hope that was a concise enough analysis of it all. I'm now going to go into a party farming video where it went a little bit wrong. Now just to say quickly, that solo run was 1 minute 29 seconds. That's from first moving to when I returned to town. So I can do around about 1 minute 30 seconds. That was a standard kind of run. It was fairly smooth, but you saw there were a few hiccups, like I missed various enemies and stuff, which I wouldn't normally, and yeah, I missed with that targeting on the barrels. Yeah, it wasn't absolutely perfect. It was just an idea of a run which you could consistently do. This run here, also sorry, if you are interested in the setup or build that I have, I will write in the description what skills I'm using, etc. Now this video here is doing 1 minute 25 seconds, so 4 seconds faster than what I did solo, but it is with killing the boss, and this just isn't really very efficient. It's run also fairly poorly, like it was okay. You saw there, these guys are a little bit behind me because I've been teleporting ahead, and they were still choosing to take down the enemies. If you're in a party farming, like you really should be, like the person ahead should be fighting them. And you can see here, I'm choosing to kill the enemies because that blitz guy is so far behind. I don't know whether his move speed was a bit lower, but yeah, you can see he's really struggling to keep up with the two wizards, and he's probably missing out on some gold. Then also here, the way they choose to do it is they're doing it clockwise, but with going down here first. This is probably the most efficient way if you're going to be taking down the boss. But yeah, as you can see, the knight guy got slowed by the slow enemy, and now he's just so far behind. We just have to wait for ages. Alright, what else to say? We stick together quite nicely through this bit, and they do take out the enemies quite well. You can see he's just, the blitz guy, all he did was a rumble, and then now he's doing a hole here. Very well thought out. However, Lorento's now got stuck behind, and yeah, this bit we spread out. You can see I'm taking down all the bits on this side where they take them down that side, and then we move in from the boss. So there are some good bits, there are some bad bits, and all in all, this run was not very efficiently run, but fairly well executed. So now I'm going to go into one which was done by 3 wizards on a cooldown potion, and we do 1 minute. Okay, now for the exciting bit. Here's me playing with 2 other wizards, Frankie Fortfingers and Ivica Verlik, I think, or Vertic. Anyway, these 2 guys came from the Black Ninja guild, which was owned by Vinez, and if you don't know who he was one of the biggest spenders in the game. He would spend huge amounts of money, and I don't think he's still playing the game, but he was back in the day. So this clip was recorded back in January, I think. This was before I had Burst of Light, before Fireblast existed. So yeah, I was using Freeze Void Ring, which is a version of manastorm, and I was using Shadow Ball, which is slightly smaller air of effect than Fireblast. But anyway, this first run is going to be 1 minute 1 second, I think, and then the other one's 1 minute 3 seconds. So the first one is just super fast, and the second one is it's a really nice run for a few little bits of it. So I'm going to try and analyze as I go through, try not to pause too much. So let's get it all in. Alright, so right at the beginning, they leave those barrels off to the left for me. They know that they're gonna, I'm gonna take them down. And as you can see, we're just running through with flame armor, speeding. That's the key thing. We're all going to be teleporting through, and yeah, you can see I take out the enemies on the left. They take out the enemies in the middle. Now Frankie did the breath of fire. I don't know why, but as you can see, we're still just splitting up. Our route for this is dipping in here. Now I find it hard to dip in and then come back out of there. So I'm staying back, which then means I can take down these enemies, and they can just rush through. They don't need to take them down. When it gets to this bit, we each take down one side, although I wasn't certain, so I went for the other one. And yeah, if you're wondering how far the distance is to pick up the gold, my screen is a little more zoomed out than most, and it's a little bit beyond the outside of the screen. So if you look up diagonally to the corner, it's a little bit beyond that. That was the run, 1 minute and 1 second, I believe. And yeah, if you look at the gold total, I had a little bit lower gold find than I do now, so I would have been picking up slightly less. Now this run, I really like for the reason that we just work really quite well as a team. It's going to be much like the other one, but yeah, there are a few little bits I want to point out. So yeah, we try to stick together for the gold, but at points I think Frankie especially, he misses out on some gold, and yeah, that's mainly due to him. I get all the gold at all times. I sort of stick with the others quite well. Now here, I saw he was using Breath of Fire, so I teleported ahead. There wasn't any point doing Flame Armor there. Saved us a little bit of time and got us into here faster. And yeah, we just basically spam over effect spells massively. So I wait for those two guys, teleport up here. I know they're just about going to get this gold. With lag, they're actually slightly on my screen at that point. And again here, see, he even left one of the sides for me because he knew I'd want to get one. And one great thing about running 3 wizards is that if anyone gets stuck behind, they can just basically spam teleport. So yeah, here's a point where Frankie gets left behind. But as you can see, he's teleported and caught up already. So those were the clips there. That was all I was going to show of that. That party farming is the best I've actually had. I didn't realise it at the time. I was just recording it and seeing how, like, trying to get some party farming footage. And yeah, then I looked at the times and I was like, whoa, guys, we were doing 1 minute 1 second, 1 minute 3 seconds. So yeah, that's that. I don't really know of anyone who has been farming that fast. But 3 wizards, seriously, it's the way to go. I mean, I showed earlier on this video clip how a solo wizard can do it in 1 minute 30, and quite clearly, like, having multiple wizards is going to speed you up. So yeah, that's it for this party farm, this inner circle guide. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all learned something, and yeah, go out and get lots of gold. Good luck to you all.